This video is the addition of a trailer hitch to a brand new 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse GT. The refreshed Eclipse Cross provides significantly more room for the user to install their trailer hitch. Let's observe. The new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross is slightly longer than the old one. As such, has significantly better access to the bolt holes. With clearance, lots of clearance between the bumper and the muffler. You will have to remove this little hanger right here. It's used for shit. Very easily accessible with hand tools. Alright, so let's get started. Always good to have everything in your yard or under your car before you start. One of the things I'm never good at. We have our handy little Draw-Tite tailor hitch with a couple of paint chips all fixed up with primer and then 2 layers of trim clad, so hopefully that'll keep the rust down. You will need as tools a 14mm socket, a 17mm socket, a 3/4 inch socket, a ratchet obviously, some extension bars, a 3/4 inch wrench, and for tightening everything up, a torque wrench that can do at least 75 foot-pounds. And this one goes to 80. If you don't have one, go see your local car nut on the street. I'm sure they will have one close by. Now the tie-down bracket is held in by 2 bolts. You can see protruding through here. And are seen right here. Plus just a 14mm bolt. Unbolt those and remove the tow hanger. Alright, with the bracket removed, remember how I said that there were 2 bolts that you had to remove to take this off the car? Well, I lied. There's actually a 3rd bolt, which you can see when it is underneath the car. However, to my defense, the instructions do indicate that there are removed 2 bolts from the tie-down bracket. Mitsubishi clearly made a change in their design since Draw-Tite updated their documents. So, 3 bolts, but there's still a 14mm, very easy. Now, the instruction guide indicates that you should have a wire brush to clean out the weld nuts, which is located right here, just in case there's paint or whatever. However, and I've done this for the other side, I just took the nut, the bolt, threaded it in by hand, and as you can see, there is no binding, no resistance. This nut does not need me to go after it with a wire brush. Your mileage may vary. Have one on hand or be ready to go to the parts store, but in my case, not necessary. You can see up here the 2 holes where we'll be putting our new bolts through, and of course this is the angled section where the 3rd nut goes. And rinse, wash, repeat for the other side. Just like that. Alright, next up, why don't you lay out your components that you're going to have to bolt in. The long bolts get a flat washer going against the frame of the car. You will use one of the conical, see it's got a curve to it and some little nibs. The conical bolts are on the other side with the nibbed edge against the frame of the car. I don't know if that's coming through at all. That'll go up against the car. Likewise for the small bolts that go on the angle, it's the nibbed edges in towards the car. So, I am installing this by myself, which I highly do not recommend. But in order to help me with that, I have pre-inserted my bolts into the frame holes with the flat washers here. Likewise, over on this side, 1, 2. There is a little bolt right here that you might strike on with your flat washer, but you can just shift things around and make it fit. Again, I don't recommend doing this by yourself because it is 30 pounds, and if it lands on my head, it's going to hurt. Well, and there we go. 1, 2 holes all line up there nicely. Down the line. I've already started to hand thread that bolt. And yeah, from here on it's just tighten things up, make sure you torque things to spec. And what does it look like? Well, it doesn't look like very much, which is exactly the goal of the Draw-Tite hitch. Once again, I'll take a shot as soon as I've bolted things down. So, second step of our trailer hitch installation, which looks very clean by the way, is installation of trailer wiring. Yay! On the 2023, and I believe from the 2021 upwards, maybe 2022, that's actually really easy. So I've already removed the tire that little tire cover. There are 4 screws that you need to remove to take out this little carrier. The spare tire does not have to be removed for this. And there are 2 screws on the tie downs on the driver's side of the car to remove this plastic panel. So I'll go and do that. Be back in a second. Alright, so once the foam jack storage area is removed, this here is literally just clipped on. Pry it up without breaking any clips, of course. And then you remove those 2 screws again, and this panel will partially come off. You don't have to take it out all the way because there is supposed to be a connector in behind here. Find out. So here's another important note for those of you before you get to doing it. This screw is not the same as the others. So while a number 2 Phillips, regular old standard number 2 will do for this, this is a Phillips number 3, or possibly a 10mm bolt. Either way, don't try and use the smaller screwdriver. You'll probably strip this or damage your screwdriver and give yourself a pile of headaches. Alright, screws are out. Pull back on this. As you can see, it's got a bit of space. Okay, once this is opened, you will see a connector up here, which is pointing out that way. It's taped up there, so that's where you'll plug in your Tekonsha connector. You also need to find a grounding point. Well, you could use self-tapping screws. They say that they include one in my kit, but it gets not there. What I've chosen is to use this point here, which is a nice lovely hole. I had to sand away a little bit of the paint, which is killing me, but whatever. I'm going to put rust proofing on that after I've put my bolts and nut through to hold the grounding screw. And then I will route all the cables out through here, and be done. Okay, so here's everything all tie wrapped, installed. My ground wire on there, double-sided tape to the back. We'll clip this back in without breaking too many pieces of plastic, I sure hope. We'll route this cable up through here so that when the foam is back in place, it'll have a nice little place to sit. Be right back.